Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News Team.
Welcome to Hippie TV News and Stuff for Thursday, April 12th. Brought to you by WorldwideHippies.com. Commentary, entertainment, education from citizens around the globe. WorldwideHippies.com. Media for the people, by the people. I am Winston Smith. Our top story, scientists increase in the U.S. earthquakes almost certainly man-made. A U.S. Geological Survey team has found that a sharp jump in earthquakes in America's heartland appears to be linked to oil and natural gas drilling operations. Some quakes may be caused by the original fracking, that is, by injecting a fluid mixture into the earth to release natural gas or oil. More appear to be caused by re-injecting the resulting brine deep underground. Now, in a paper to be delivered at the annual meeting of the Seismological Society of America, the USGS notes that a remarkable increase in the rate of magnitudes 3.0 and greater earthquakes is currently in progress. In the United States mid-continent, the frequency of earthquakes started rising in 2001 across a broad swath of the country, between Alabama and Montana. In 2009, there were 50 earthquakes greater than magnitude 3.0, 87 quakes in 2010. The 134 quakes in the zone last year is a six-fold increase over 20th century levels. So why haven't you been seeing anything in the mainstream media about this? Well, you will soon, because the corporate media is very aware that soon as the report is released, environmental groups and internet bloggers will saturate the internet and alternative media outlets with the report. What you should know ahead of time is that corporate media is gearing up for a huge increase in ad revenue from this report. For the last month, when multinational gas and oil corporations were made aware of the soon-to-be-released report, public relations and advertising executives have been meeting with news corporation heads to plan misinformation ad blitz to counter this report. The plan includes placing paid, misleading, false, and contrary ads in newspapers, online, and television. Corporate media, to ensure the flow of ad revenue, will also place pro-fracking articles presented as reporting but written by those same ad agencies into their news cycles. Be aware that companies like Gannett Newspapers, the New York Times, News Corp, MSNBC, and others have in the past been caught placing false information also into their editorial pages as letters to the editor that were really written by, you guessed it, advertising agencies. USA Today has repeatedly been busted for taking actual money to place false commentary on their editorial pages. It has been alleged.
They came to enter homes and offices for unannounced sneak and peek searches. And I didn't speak up. They came to arrest American citizens and hold them indefinite. And I didn't speak up. Then they came for me, and for anyone. Speak up.
If you are interested in reporting from your spot of the globe, contact Joe at WorldwideHippies.com.
Now, here's Dr. Woody's fabulous, fascinating factoids.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time once again for Dr. Woody's fascinating, fabulous factoids. This one's number 6, fiasco. In English, the word fiasco means an absolute, abject, utterly humiliating failure. The financial housing credit meltdown in 2007-09 could be understood in this term. So could the BP Magondo oil well catastrophe in the Gulf. And of course, the whole Bolshevik reply to the Hurricane Katrina disaster in New Orleans is a classic of the kind. Another, tipping over that cruise ship recently in plain sight of the harbor. In the original Italian, fiasco means flask. So you might inquire, How did the Italian word for little bottle come to signify a complete and utter disaster? The answer is Dr. Woody's fascinating, fabulous factoid number 6. It goes like this. It goes back to the glass blower's art, which is as delicate and fragile as the material itself. Glass blowing is an exacting, unforgiving art and was practiced at somewhere approaching its highest form in the Italian Renaissance. It requires dexterity, technique, experience, knowledge, patience, no small amount of courage, and a great deal of luck to tease out of those base silicates the intricate designs, radiant colors, and expressive shapes which the skilled artisan can craft in the searing flames of their kiln. And as it happens regularly with such a delicate and sensitive enterprise as glass blowing, accidents do happen. And when they did, and when they do, and the other artisans in the guild witnessed this sad event, they'd holler and tease the unfortunate craftsman about it, and the fellow whose bubble had burst, so to speak, to camouflage his own disappointment and the disgrace of a failed work, would reply to the taunts that, in effect, the broken or failed piece was nothing important. It was merely a fiasco, just a little bottle. Apropos of nothing, really, I have a sterling silver flask in which I used once upon a time to transport whiskey when I was going out drinking on the cheap. Even cheap whiskey tastes okay when it's poured out of a sterling silver flask, hippies. We can try it when I see you at the beach. Pause.
Thanks, Doc. I had factoids before. Warm bath cleared right up. And this. Deadly bacteria lurk in Deepwater Horizon tar balls. Surprise!
It's alive! It's alive!
Nearly 2 years after the Deepwater Horizon disaster gushed millions of barrels of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, tar balls from the spill still turn up on beaches all along the southern coast. Now, researchers are recommending that people steer clear of these tar balls after studies find them chock full of potentially deadly bacteria. In research published online in 2011 in the journal EcoHealth and avoided by corporate media and the EPA, Auburn University microbiologist Kova Arias and colleagues discovered that Deepwater Horizon tar balls found months after the spill contained high levels of bacteria, including 10 times the level of Vibrio vulnificus as found in the surrounding sand. Vibrio vulnificus is the leading cause of seafood-borne disease fatalities nationwide, and it has a fatality rate of 20 to 30% when it's infected through skin wounds. We don't know what the real risk is at this point because of lack of interest by the federal government and the EPA, but to be safe, beachgoers should avoid handling the tar balls. I would suggest avoiding the Gulf Coast. Now, don't avoid this. It's the Instant Karma Files.
Instant karma's gonna get you. Gonna knock you right on the head.
Hey, have you got your moonbeams yet? You can buy them on worldwidehippies.com/store. They're beautiful, they're magical, and they come with an adjustable necklace. Get yours today. They're going fast.
Well, Wendy Starr is here with a follow-up story to her revealing report from last Monday.
Thank you, Winston, and greetings from the Windy City. There are working poor people who work more hours a week than the average salaried employee, but they do it in a cobbled-together assortment of part-time jobs without benefits. Some find themselves trapped in this situation because they lack the education or technical skill set to get better employment. Others lost salaried positions due to economic recession, and they work part-time or temporary jobs to make ends meet. Ron Sider, founder of Evangelicals for Social Action, sees that situation, coupled with the United States deficit and a growing gap between the rich and the poor, as a justice crisis. People ought to be able to work their way out of poverty, says Sider, professor at Palmer Theological Seminary at Wynwood. But more Americans live in poverty today than at any other time in the last 50 years, according to the U.S. Census Bureau and the National Bureau of Economic Research. Jeremy Everett, director of the Texas Hunger Initiative, says often people find themselves having to choose between paying the rent, the light bill, and the water bill, or paying for groceries. For the elderly, it might be a choice between the mortgage and medication. Underemployed or unemployed victims of recession, together with the ranks of the working poor who have been unable to rise above poverty, have forced growing numbers to rely on government welfare. Nearly 15% of all Americans, a record 45.7 million people, now participate in the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps. $23,000 per year is too low for most two-person households to live comfortably in America, let alone a four-member family. Jeremy Everett is correct in saying that there's no such thing as the deserving and the undeserving poor. Simple charity isn't enough. Justice means fair access to society's productive resources so people can earn their own way. Experts warn against politicians who want to balance out the federal budgets on the backs of the poor. Beckman agreed, noting that cutting the amount of money dedicated to programs helping the hungry and poor people make ends meet would not make as big a difference to the budget deficit as it would to low-income families. We must have a circle of protection around the government programs that are vital to poor people and advocate for their interests. It is sometimes a challenge to understand the importance of advocacy when addressing these issues, but we need to change the politics of hunger if we want to create more widespread and lasting change, Beckman says. Let's do our research, make every vote count, and never forget the importance of our voice as a people. We can do our part as citizens to help our brothers and sisters get a hand up, not a handout. Winston, back to you.
Thanks, Wendy. Good work. That's it for Thursday, April 12th. Please support Worldwide Hippies any way you can so we can keep up the howl for peace and justice. And you will see us here next Monday.